Hey up everybody, how you all doing? Welcome back. I hope you're having a great day. I hope the weather's better where you are than it is here. It's been chucking it down all day. Well, it does seem as though the sun's trying to break through the clouds a little bit. But yeah, I've got Britain Ain't Got Nothing on American State Fairs by Lost in the Pond, Lawrence. I can imagine so. I can't think of an equal. We have fairs, of course we do, but we have the most famous one over here is called Goose Fair. I believe it's the most famous one. Yeah, there's a tiny little fair where I am, about 3 miles down the road. Only ever open in the summer. State fairs, is there like a season to it? Like a month of the year or whatever? 'Cause to me, it doesn't look as though it is something that travels about. But again, I have no idea what a state fair is. I saw some right at the very beginning of this channel that had a state fair, and it didn't get into what they're about. But I'm sure Lawrence is going to let me know. Enough of my rabbiting, let's get on with it. I'm already subscribed. Give it a like. Let's go.
Today, my wife and I decided to come here to the Wisconsin State Fair. Ooh. Yes, first time as well. Well, before I moved to America, I didn't really have a full comprehension of what a state fair actually was. This was a concept that I'd heard about in American films. Since
State fairs tend, I was about to say, tend to have equal amounts of food to ride and stuff like that. The fairs here, actually, yeah, no. I was about to say the fair near me don't sell food, but it does actually, I'd say, a pub on it. Of course it does. But, yeah, no. All the moves in that, when you think of state fair, to me, it's all about the food.
I've moved to America, I've made the connection that state fairs are sort of like a combination of what in the UK we would call a travelling fun fair and a county agricultural show. Those are two different things. When I was a kid, a fun fair would be this thing that would just turn up in a field for a few days with rides and candy floss, or cotton candy as it's known in America. And it was basically entertainment for kids. And an agricultural show was your livestock and farming related stuff.
Which I will be going, hopefully doing a vlog there on my new camera. The Lincolnshire show, I think it's in about 3 weeks, might be even longer than that, a month or so away anyway. Lincolnshire, where they have all old vintage tractors and livestock and that. Never been to it, so I'm quite looking forward to going to that, if I'm honest.
That was on show to the public. It was basically a way to say, look, basically entertainment for kids. And an agricultural show was your livestock and farming related stuff that was on show to the public. It was basically a way to say, look, this is the county you live in, here's what your county does agriculturally. And I have limited recollections of doing both as a kid. They were fun up until a certain age, and then I discovered roller coaster theme parks and London Zoo. And so suddenly these things seemed a little boring. Well, many years later, after moving to America, I attended my first state fair in Indianapolis. And this is before I was a YouTube sensation, so I didn't bother to film any of it. So today, my wife and I decided to come here. And just a few minutes in, I was quickly reminded of the fact that those British fairs that I mentioned,
that kind of looks a bit like something we call a waltzer.
That was a YouTube sensation, so I didn't bother to film any of it. So today, my wife and I decided to come here and just...
Yeah, it looks a bit like something we call a waltzer, where it spins around and goes up and down the bumps. Just like a ride normally would.
Few minutes in, I was quickly reminded of the fact that those British fairs that I mentioned a moment ago are behind America in one particular thing, and that is scale. What do you know? Huge state fairs even have room for the hugest chessboard I've ever seen. Whereas a lot of shows and fairs in Britain take place in a small area of a field, American state fairs like this one have actual infrastructure in place that are known as the state fair grounds, and they're huge.
So it is a seasonal thing, but they have infrastructure put there ready for it all the time to turn up. That is crazy.
How huge? Well,
as I said a minute ago, anything that travels, there's nothing there. Literally nothing. That just no infrastructure for next year. Never.
Well, my first observation is that the Wisconsin State Fair is so big, it has chairlifts to get around like it's some sort of ski resort. Usually when
You know it's going to be... Sorry, I know I pause a lot. Some of you don't like it, a lot of you don't mind it. But this, just looking at the entrance, how big it is, it's going to tell you, it's not going to be a little farmer's field, is it? I'll say little farmer's field. You know what I mean? But yeah, just looking at the entrance there, you know it's going to be big. But yeah, literal bloody... I forgot what you said they're called now. Are they stair lift things? Not stair lift, ski lift things.
get around like it's some sort of ski resort. Usually when I've been to a state park, you might have a little sort of inbuilt train system that takes you around the entire thing, but never these things. And I'm not someone who's particularly good with heights, so I'm going to walk the rest of this distance. And in a way, I was glad that I got to meander through the main thoroughfare on my own, because it brought to my attention the scale of not just the state fair itself, but the food. When I think of those fairs in Britain, there were hot dog stands and things of that nature, but I don't remember there being funnel cakes. I don't remember there being elephant ear. I don't remember there being an Irish pub. And the food on offer here, frankly, is indicative of two things. Firstly, that Americans like food, and number two, that you need all of this food to feed the many hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people who attend every single year. These are not attendance numbers that you'll see in the UK. And that's weird because we have more people per square mile. You would think that in each county where our agricultural shows take place, you would have more people come. Why don't you? Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, our fairs don't last as long. State fairs in this country seem to last up to 2 weeks or thereabouts, sometimes longer, sometimes slightly shorter. But the equivalent fairs in Britain typically run about 2 to 4 days. I don't think people in Britain, on the whole, identify.
I've seen little fairs turn up when I've been travelling somewhere, like roads being closed, like a few little roads being put in literally in the middle of the main roads and stuff. But yeah, no, I've never been to anything in the farmer's field, any sort of fair like that. Not until the agricultural thing that I'll be going to in a few weeks. Well, I don't know I'm doing that because I am going.
With their county as much as Americans identify with their state. So when Wisconsin has a state fair, it's going to attract more visitors from Wisconsin and heck, even from Illinois, but only because it's nearer to me than the Illinois State Fair, because people in Wisconsin are proud of their state. So they're like, yeah, of course we're going to the state fair. In Britain, you know, I never woke up and go, ooh, I live in Lincolnshire, let's do Lincolnshire things. And the final and most obvious reason is that state fairs are a one-stop shop, like I said earlier.
I live in Lincolnshire, but I'm not from here. I'm from South Yorkshire.
You've got the agriculture side of things here, but you've also got the fun fair side of things. And the grounds are so massive that it feels like both elements, the rides and the agriculture, take up more space than they would at respective fairs in the UK. State fairs in America are so big, they even have room for a shopping mall. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm not a child anymore, so the rides don't appeal to me for much the same reason that chairlifts don't. But I'm happy for the people that are currently vomiting up their corn dogs. But speaking of the food, I am going to be spending a few hours here today. I will have to eat something. So my wife has challenged me for the first time in my life to try funnel cake. We'll get to that in a bit, but first, I need a burger. Just stopped off at a British sounding place called Major Goolsby. Do you think that sounds British?
Yum.
Standard cheeseburger. Not your standard cheeseburger. And I could spend all day talking about all the many food options, all of the many rides, and that still doesn't cover the fact that many of these state fairs have an amphitheatre. What's that for, Lawrence? Well, it's not for gladiatorial battles yet. It's where...
I've been to theme parks with amphitheatres, or one that had one when I was a kid. I think it was Alton Towers, I believe. May not be. Maybe another one.
Pop stars come to sing. You know, I read that the Beatles sang at the Indianapolis State Fair in the 60s. Nowadays, you might get Taylor Swift. Actually, Boys to Men. So Taylor Swift's too big for this. But that just underscores, I think, how popular these things are in America. Like, imagine Dua Lipa turning up to the Yorkshire show. Now, there is one major thing that US state fairs have in common with UK agricultural shows. Remember earlier when I said this? This is the county you live in. Here's what your county does agriculturally. Now that I've been to two different state fairs in the Midwest, it's obvious that these fairs exist partly to bring attention to the best that state has to offer. With Wisconsin, surprise, surprise, that mostly revolves around one thing. Yeah, Wisconsin's going to be the death of me.
Apparently this is the thing to get at the state fair. It's called a cream puff. It's giant. I don't know if I can actually put this whole thing in my mouth.
Imagine if this was a radio show. There's no context for what we're saying.
I mean, it's okay. It's just whipped cream.
Only place in America that I know what it's famous for is purely because I'm from the city that's famous for the same thing. Pittsburgh, the place of steel. Like, I'm from Sheffield in South Yorkshire, the place of steel too. But other than that, I've just learnt that Wisconsin, known for dairy.
A lot of whipped cream.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd say it's known for dairy. It produces it. It might be known for something else for all I know. I don't know. I'll eventually learn what all states are known for. Yeah, let me know in the comments as well who's got the best state fair.
to churn a lot
if
of
you've
that
been
out,
to
'cause they
a
have
mall or
thousands
more
of
than one.
visitors every day, so it's never going to be gourmet.
I mean, it's all right. It seems kind of heavy for a 90-degree day.
Well, the Wisconsin State Fair has an actual museum devoted to all of it.
I've just said if you've been to a mall, I bet there's barely anybody that's been to a mall. It's a 50 state fair, is it? You go to one every year. No, I don't think there's many people that have done that. I may be wrong though. Sorry for pausing again. I mean, well, if they go on for like 2 weeks, you can cross borders, can't you? County lines, county borders, state lines. Jesus, forgot what it was called then for a minute. But yeah, I suppose you could. It wouldn't have to take 50 years, would it?
Ow, it stung. What I like though are the animals, and we're going to get to see plenty of those. We're about to watch a goat get milked. That's the highlight of my day.
That's fun.
What about you? Oh, look at him. Oh, what a beauty. What a beauty. What a weird neck. Jesus. You can't come to Wisconsin and not pick up some free cheese. Goat
Never
cheese
seen a
as
goat
well,
without
isn't it?
cheese, I don't think.
I prefer that to the droppings. Do you like corn as well? You're proper Midwestern. Oh, you stand here, don't you? Whee, it's throw, yay!
That's something I've never, ever seen here. I imagine it does exist somewhere, but I've never seen a game of cornhole. Just the name of it's funny to me.
That was unbelievable. Did you get that? That was my first shot.
What's been your favorite part of the fair so far?
That's a good question. I'll be honest, it's not my thing. I'm not a big fan of crowds. I'm not a big fan of loud music when I'm trying to talk in a video. And I don't really like sweet food with lots of sugar in it. But I was a child once, and it brings back a little bit of nostalgia for me. It's nostalgia that's like amplified because, you know, it's America.
That's a regular funnel cake, right guys?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
thank you.
All set, have a good day, okay?
You too, thanks. I like that they give you a fork, like you're going to use that, you know. But I suppose I might, actually. Kind of like it. I mean, obviously, I gave up added sugar. This is an exception that I'm making. If I was still eating added sugar, I wouldn't choose this every day of the week. But if somebody gave it to me, I would not throw it in their face.
Well, I mean, that's the point of fair food, though, right?
To throw it in their face?
No, it's only eat it like once a year.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Anyway, I have to leave here now because I understand this tent is being loaned out to boys to men who are, hello, my wife's a huge fan. Anyway, let me know in the comments whether you've attended a state fair this year. Yes, this is my garden, but in my defense, it's very hard to film at the state fair without feeling self-conscious. And no, boys to men are not in my garden. If you like this video, subscribe and watch this one next. Till the next video, goodbye.
Goodbye. Right, nice one. Yeah, no, infrastructure staying there, that just tells you straight away that the massively big about them. But as I said, I can't think of any equivalent over it. I really can't. We do great village fetes all over the little villages, but only ride that you ever see at one of them would be like a little child's merry-go-round or something. Usually selling jam, doing white cheese tasting and stuff. I say that, but I've been to a village fete for years. But yeah, no, that's something I'd love to check out over there, obviously. But right, if you are one of the very few handful of people that have made it their life mission to get to as many of the state fairs as you can, let me know in the comments which is the best one you've been to so far. And right, yeah, if you enjoyed that, give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you want to. It massively help me out. And enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye. Bye bye.